Good afternoon, everybody. I hope everybody's doing well on this Thursday. This is Lorraine Alternative Homesteading. It is hot outside. It is actually 90 degrees here, but it feels hotter than that. Humidity is high. Severe weather alerts. It was 92 yesterday, but there is actually a nice breeze here, and I'm using my other camera, which you can see is very fuzzy. I'll use the other phone later so that you have a better photo. Yesterday, I had to drive to Richmond to replace my license, my driver's license, but guess what, folks? Guess what the criminals did? Everybody knows that this is what they do. So when my mother's wedding ring was stolen, 20 some odd days later, they returned it on April Fool's Day and left it at the foot of the chicken coop, where I've walked back and forth a dozen times every day since. Well, knowing what the criminals do, I intentionally looked in my handbag a couple of days before. Just wanted to make sure. I didn't want to make the trip for no reason at all. It was nowhere to be found. Nowhere. Okay? So I'm in the car. I had somebody drive me there because I don't have a driver's license, right? And as I go in there to pull out my other wallet, guess what I found? The little tiny wallet that was stolen with my driver's license and credit cards, neatly tucked right inside, where I have looked since then at least 3 times. Yes, so I made that trip. I was gone pretty much all day. Spent the extra money to get another driver's license, and the criminals returned it, which is something I knew that they were going to do, but I didn't think they'd do it the day of. So anyway, folks, that's what happened there. Now, I hid a video that a couple of subscribers commented on. I think it was the last video that I posted where I was photographing, videotaping what the criminals did. And that's what I call them, folks. I call them criminals, gang stalkers, community-based agents, criminals on patrol, morons on patrol, the mops, whatever they do. Like they planted grass all here in my garden bed, which it's difficult to see, but they planted grass here. And what they did is they planted vegetation that doesn't even exist on my property, right down there. It's approximately 4 feet tall. So when I discussed it with you guys, I mentioned that my other neighbor, removed from some of the criminal neighbors, I called her a perpetrator. Well, she didn't like that I called her a perpetrator, and she called me out on it because obviously she's watching my videos and she'll probably watch this one too. So she says, I'm not a perpetrator. And I said, has anybody contacted you about harassing me? And she said, no one has contacted me about harassing you. I said, would you tell me if they did? She says, nobody has contacted me. I said, well, aren't you related to the sheriff? And she said, no. And then she casually said that her husband is related to the sheriff. Now, I just want to tell you that the new sheriff is infinitely better than the last sheriff, who was also a state trooper. I heard more stories about him than you even want to know, and I'm not even going to talk about it because it's not worth my time or yours. Everybody knows about what the sheriffs do behind the closed doors. But anyway, our new sheriff is younger. He's like half the age, or somewhat half the age as the old sheriff. So obviously he doesn't have as much experience. But he's not as tarnished as the old sheriff, although he did work under him. And he appears to be a nicer guy with a higher level of standards and code of ethics. It appears to be, okay? But remember, they're all involved. They all know what's going on here, and no one has done anything to prevent it. So that tells you that they're complicit and in violation of their oath of office, the oath that they took to protect the Constitution of the United States and Kentucky. Okay, so we're not going to negate that. That is a fact that pretty much all sheriffs in the United States are in violation of their oath, the Constitution of the United States, and the oath that they took to the state. Now, there's something different about the new sheriff is that there is a conflict of interest, it appears to be, because he has a baby with the daughter of a real perpetrator, okay? This is the guy whose son stuck his middle finger up at me as he drove by while I was retrieving my mail at the mailbox. He's also the one that just suddenly, miraculously appears every time my internet goes out. And of course, he does work for the internet company, but he just appears on the scene. And when the huge tree fell down on the wires, he's the one that said, "Oh no, we can't help remove the tree." He's also the one that approached Noble Landworks when they were supposed to perform work on my property and evidently told them a slanderous lie story and aided in abetting them in destroying a portion of my property. Okay, so the sheriff is involved with a woman who is the daughter of those criminals, who I have provided a cease and desist letter to months ago. Yeah, that's the one who drove around with the license plate that said "Blessed," who no longer drives that vehicle. Everybody around here seems to have new cars. It baffles the mind that some of the new vehicles that are driven around here cost more than the average income for this county. The average income here is $30,000 a year. So how are they able to afford $40,000 and $50,000 and $60,000 vehicles, including tractors? Maybe it's all on their credit cards. You know, that people do use credit cards for things, but it just seems very unusual in this very poor town that everybody's got a new vehicle. Okay, so anyway, my neighbor, who is the nicer of the criminal, I should say she's not a criminal, but she said that she wanted me to tell you guys that with regard to her chickens, her chickens were constantly crossing the street onto my property. I don't have a problem with her chickens. I mean, she's got beautiful chickens, and I love animals, and I would never harm an animal intentionally, unless, of course, they were attacking one of my animals, and then, of course, I would go ballistic with my mommy's instincts popping out. But she wanted me to tell you that she was so upset by my video when I said that her chickens were trespassing and stuff. And the problem is not her chickens. The problem is because my birds see her chickens there. They want to go down and party. They want to go down and party with her chickens. Okay? So that takes them all the way down the other end of my property and somewhat out of sight, right? I don't want them on the main road. And of course, Guinea fowls, they have a mind of their own. They are, how do I describe them? They're like a bunch of wiry, unruly teenagers. They've got a mind of their own. They're wild. Here they come. They know I'm talking about them. They just do whatever they damn please all the time. And it takes them much longer to get into the coop at night because they don't want to go in, which led to the demise of a mommy who was sitting on a nest the other day, and it just broke my heart. Some animal got her. She refused to come into the coop, sitting on her eggs, and in the morning she was gone. Feathers everywhere. I just can't. So I want them in the coop at night. But anyway, so my neighbor wanted me to tell you that she was so upset and she doesn't want her birds to, do anything wrong or whatever, that she would have killed her birds so that they weren't bothering me. Okay, she wanted me to let you know that. And I did explain to her that I would never want her to do that. Horrible. I would never. You just have to kind of train them to stay on your location. Guineas are another story entirely. They are, like I said, they've got a mind of their own. But if there are birds down at the end of my property, that lures all of my birds down there. They're like, oh, we can go down there. Not that they can't because it's my property, but I don't really want them going there. It's like towards the other end of the road. So she wanted me to let you know that. And I did have a conversation with her about what has been happening with the other neighbors. I wanted to let her know that this is organized, that it is against the law, that is community-based harassment, that is vigilante groups. And I call them criminals on patrol and morons on patrol, and they gang together and form bully groups. And it is state sanctioned. And I did tell her that this has been happening to me for 12 years. And I said the unfortunate thing about these illegal programs is they're happening all across the United States. And I told her that more than 2 million innocent people have been placed on these horrific watch lists, having done nothing wrong. And then what it does is it forces people to lose their rights. Now, I was a little surprised at the feedback that I received about the losing of the rights. Really disturbed me. So she basically said, oh, so if you've lost your rights, then I can do anything and nothing will happen to me, or nothing will happen. Well, pretty much that says it all, but it doesn't mean that I wouldn't be going after you legally. But that's not what most people would say. And I'm sure that when you leave comments down below, please tell me, if you approach somebody and tell them about this horrific gang stalking program across the United States, state sanctioned, run by my favorite Bureau of Instigation and their Fusion Center operatives, going into communities with these illegal covert programs. If you were to tell people that the U.S. is stealing the rights of Americans with no vetting, no due process, harassing them, tormenting them, trespassing, vandalizing, and stealing things from innocent people. If when you explain that to people, that they say, oh, well, that means that I can do whatever I want and nothing will happen to me. How would you feel, men and women, listening to this? How would you feel about that? Is that a remark or a comment that would automatically come to your mind? Or would you just feel horrifically sad that something like that can happen to an innocent person in this alleged home of the free, land of the free, and home of the brave? Our founding fathers would be mortified at what's happening here, folks. So please leave a comment down below. And I apologize that I was not here yesterday. One, I was gone more than half of the day. When I came back, I had to take care of my animals, mail, the regular chores. I was very tired. I'm tired here. The heat really takes a lot out of me. And I had a landscaper. No, not here. Not yesterday, the day before. But there's like a lot of work to be done here. Oh my God, here it comes. I wish I had a better camera so that you could see these cute little creatures here. 1 second. Hi guys, I see you. I see you. Where are you? Hi. There you are. There's my little chillins over there. Oh, you can't see them. There they are. My little kiddos. So, but yeah, please leave the comments down below. And I'm glad to post this video today. I'll try to post another one later today. But I also wanted to give you a heads up that my laptop has not been working for now going on 3 days. So it started 2 nights ago when the morons put me to sleep and my laptop suddenly froze up. Completely frozen, couldn't get mail. I have rebooted it like a dozen times. The processes are not working. I can't read my mail. I can't move from screen to screen. Can't get into my documents. It's not relating to the internet. It's just not loading anything. So it's been a real problem. So that's another reason why I haven't posted, because I've been spending a lot of time trying to get my laptop up and running, and it's just not. And so it's very stressful for me, since I have so much work to do and I'm so far behind now. But I hope everybody's doing well. I'm back in a cool spot here. I'm in the back of all these little buildings. And let me show you, the creek has dried up a lot because it's so hot. There's just a little bit of water there, none here, none there, a little bit over there. But anyway, I'm going to sign off for now. Hope everybody's doing well. And thank you everybody for the links and videos and stuff that you've been sending me. And I'm going to sign off for now.